It was the huge urge for freedom. I want to be able to drive my son anywhere, everywhere, anytime. I want to be able to spend time with them, playing board games, playing soccer out in the field anytime I want. So it's that freedom that I was really yearning for. And it was so strong that giving up was not an option.
So my name is April Cox. I am the founder of Little Labradoodle Publishing. I'm a children's author, like many of you are. I'm on my 10th book, and I've also, over the years, have realized that so many authors have been taken advantage of by predatory publishers that it kind of pulled me in to helping other authors. So not only am I a publisher myself, but I also have a program called Self-Publishing Made Simple, where I help other authors to manage their books and publish their own books, become their own publishing company. And many of the members from that group are at the end of their publishing journey. And today we're kind of interloping on their normal, regular activities because I think this is such an important part of their journey in being able to be a part of this interview with Brenda. So I want to bring Brenda over here with me. And Brenda, I'll just ask you to introduce yourself because you'll do a much better job than I will. And then we can jump into some of the questions that I have for you. Welcome. I'm so very happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. My name is Brenda Li, and I am a children's author and illustrator, and also a mom of two boys, a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. They keep me inspired, motivated, and extremely exhausted.
So you're an illustrator as well as an author, multi-talented. I'm always amazed when I get to meet author illustrators because to me, it's left brain, right brain working together, and it's an amazing thing that I know I cannot do. So when did your author journey start? And could you tell us a little bit about your first book and that first journey that you had?
I think I started, exact year, I don't remember, maybe 2017, somewhere there, when I got laid off from my corporate job at a local television station as a motion designer. And at that time, I was working on mom comics. I had a newborn at the moment at that time, and then I was working on my motherhood humor. You must have seen a lot of these comics flying or floating around the internet because a lot of them went viral without my credits on the bottom. They all got cropped off. This is actually my first book, and it's called Parenting You Will Never Pee Alone Again. And you must have seen this comic floating around some of the Facebook groups.
Yeah.
It's like, mama, mama, like, close the door. And then he closes the door with him in the washroom with me. So
I love it.
It's one of my first comic books. And I'm going to be very honest with you, it never flew. It never flew off the shelves. I was selling this at a baby fair, and I had stacks and stacks of books on the display. And all the moms, they just giggled when they read the title and they moved on and pushed along with the baby in the stroller. Everybody was too busy to be reading books for themselves because this book is really meant for mothers. And as a mother, I finally realized that there is no time for us to read a book, let alone a comic book. We spend all our time and energy and money on babies. So that was already my first obstacle that I stumbled upon.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? My very first mistake was printing overseas 2,000 copies of this baby right here.
Okay.
That never really sold.
I love that you're humble enough to tell us about all of the mistakes because in the end, it is a happy ending. And I see what you are doing these days and what you've learned along the way. So tell us what motivates you as an author. What is it that really lights you up and motivates your stories?
It's the urge for financial freedom and for a lifestyle freedom. Before I had kids, freedom wasn't really something I really earned for because I had quite a lot of it. I would, have my job, I'll go home and have time to myself. But after having my newborn in 2015, I wasn't able to, I had a job that required me to work till midnight, 3 p.m. till midnight, the local television station. And I was missing all the bedtime stories with my son. I was missing out on dinners and bath times. Basically, when I got home at like 12:30, he was already fast asleep. And those times were precious, and I missed them all. And he wasn't heading in, he was still in daycare at the moment at that time. But I knew when if kindergarten comes around, I'm gonna be missing all the pickups and sending him to classes or just spending time with him after school. And I don't want that. So it was the huge urge for freedom. I want to be able to drive my son anywhere, everywhere, anytime. I want to be able to spend time with them, playing board games, playing soccer out in the field anytime I want. So it's that freedom that I was really yearning for. And it was so strong that giving up was not an option. I'm not going to be stuck to this corporate job 3 p.m. to midnight every single day and watch my boys' youth fly by before my eyes.
That is such a powerful motivator. And I think that's what gives you this I'm never giving up attitude, this perseverance that I've seen. So you started telling us about your first book. Tell us more, continue the story about, the starts and stops or the things you've done and didn't quite work out the way that you intended, because I think that's really the beef of all of the resilience that I've seen in your author journey.
I've moved on to create a lot of different books. I started off creating children's books as soon as I know moms have no time to read comic books. But some of my first few books included a book called Kindness Gets a Thumbs Up. When I first put it on Amazon, it didn't sell. It was the characters was a dog and a bunch of animals. And then I didn't want to give up at the moment because I was like, kindness is a huge topic, and there is no reason why it should fail. Like we all think like our books are the best, right? I'm like, there's no reason why it's not selling. It's an amazing story. So guess what? Instead of like, I had no shame. I still don't right now. It's always trial and error, even though I'm trying right before my audience's eyes. I don't care. If it's not working, I change it. So I had a book called Kindness Gets a Thumbs Up. It was with animal characters and it didn't sell. So I was like, maybe people are more relatable to human characters. And guess what? I took the book down. I replaced all the characters from animals into human beings, like boys and girls instead of dogs and hippos and all that. And I actually, because I did so much work, right? And a mailman it was a hippo mailman. And then I turned that male hippo into an actual human mailman. I gave it a hippo hat and I called him Mr. Hippo. So I'm making all these changes along the way as minimal as I can to see if I can save my book. So I didn't give up just yet. And people were wondering why the animals changed to humans at that time. And I barely had any fans. Who cares? It didn't work. Like, what's the point of keep holding on to something that's not working? And guess what? I changed it into humans and it still didn't work.
I thought you were going to have a happy ending with that one.
No happy ending. Nope, still didn't work. The good thing about me being an illustrator also myself is I could easily shake it off, pretend that I didn't make that book, and then start fresh. That's what I did. I pretended that book never existed. However, I did learn from the mistakes I made, which I actually don't know what the mistake was, just that it didn't sell. Maybe the title was too long. Maybe the title was too complicated. Maybe the cover was not interesting enough. I still don't really know, but it didn't work, so I'm going to move on. I'm not going to dwell on it wondering why it's not working. But like I said, the luxury that I have is because I'm also the illustrator. However, I'm paying in time. I spent so many hours working on the illustrations that the paid illustrator would have spent. So that was my cost of moving along and forgetting about that book. But because what choice do I have? Right. It's not making me money. There's no point in dwelling over something that's not working. So the next day I shook it off and mentally I was like, okay, let me come up with a brand new book. And that excited me all over again.
Hmm.
So that was how I reset myself all the time.
What was the trajectory that got you over to The Girl Who Made a Million Mistakes? And that kind of, was that the first one that really took off for you, or were there others prior to that?
There were other prior to that. It was my Pick and Jeans series that took off before The
Uh,
Girl Who Makes a Million Mistakes.
and
But it was awesome. Yeah.
I do love that Pig and Jeans
Yes.
character. It reminds me of the simplicity of Mo Willems' characters and storylines and things like that. But
Yes.
it was something very different and unique about it. So would you like to talk a
Yes.
little bit about Pig and Jeans and
Yeah.
how you got inspired to create that? And I just love where
Yeah.
your inventiveness comes from.
Well, they were the idea of having random items within the pocket. So for those who don't know, this is the Pig and Jeans book. It's about this little pig called Brian. He's got a bunch of random items hidden in his pockets. And the idea is inspired by my sons who would come home every day from kindergarten and from grade fives right now, grade five, random things in their pockets, candy wrappers, Lego pieces, Pokemon cards, just random. And this is my inspiration of how Brian, the pig in jeans, always has items handy in his pockets and ready to share with the world and help the community and raise the community up by offering creative solutions. For example, a squirrel was collecting acorns and he doesn't have a bag to gather his acorns to bring it home. So Brian is like, hey, don't worry, I've got a stinky sock in my pocket. You can use this sock as a bag to gather all your acorns. So it's creative problem solving, fun humor, all packed in a book.
I love it. I absolutely love the characters and they are so relatable. How many books in the Pig and Jean series do you have?
Oh, I think six right now.
That's amazing. So how did that turn into The Girl Who Made a Million Mistakes? Where did the idea come from about, I mean, I have a funny feeling it has a lot to do with all of this, this work that you,
Exactly, exactly. You know what? At one point, sometimes you just some. I'm a person who doesn't want to give up, but
Mhm.
sometimes mentally in your mind, you're like, screw it. I'm gonna draw whatever I want. And this was kind of the screw it moment. I'm like, I don't know what topic I want to draw. Picking Jesus is doing well, but I want to do even better.
Mhm.
But I have no idea. I've done so many books. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to draw about myself. So this is me making all these mistakes with the messy hair and the scratch marks on the head and the leaf on the hair. She is just a big mess. And it's a reflection of myself throughout these years, ever since I got laid off from TV as a designer. All these hiccups I've been through, all these struggles, all these books that are not working. I've been revising book titles, revising characters, changing topics, back and forth. It's just non-stop changes. And there are actually a lot of people sending me messages saying, why did you change this? Why did I change that? I just says it benefits the story, but really it wasn't selling. So so if it's
Right?
not selling, I'm gonna make changes. And with all those struggles, I feel like this girl is a reflection of me. And I wasn't gonna give up while I was drawing this book. So I kind of gave myself the inspiration and the motivation that you might be making mistakes, but this is not it. You can still be a winner by making
Mm.
mistakes because, in fact, it's making mistakes that makes you a winner.
I have a prediction also. I think as people find you and these new books that have, they've embraced, I think that they're going to find that gold mine of things you did earlier on that were
Hmm.
released and be like, "Oh
Hmm.
my gosh, I got to get this book too and that book too." Have you started to see some of that cross promotion happening with your new books?
Yes, definitely, definitely. I've actually seen some sales with my old books about kindness gets a thumbs up. There are some sales with the human version, and I think I got like a few from the animal version. I'm
Right,
like, oh,
right.
it's so helping me out. So I'm gonna say none of the mistakes that you have done in the past is gonna completely go to waste because first, those are the building blocks to your next step up. And
Mhm.
second, everything is circular. What I do is sometimes I even bring my books out and collaborate them together as a promotion, and then I would be like, oh, if you buy us how if you spend how much money, you're gonna get this book for free. So I give my old products as a giveaway, and
Oh,
that's a,
well,
that's
that's
a gimmick at
brilliant.
market
That's
that's a
brilliant.
gimmick at markets and vendor events. So nothing goes to waste. I designed a lot of old t-shirts from my old t-shirt business that did not work out. I kept those t-shirts and now I'm giving them away as part of a purchase promo. So people are like, "Oh, let's see the t-shirt." And then they're like, "Oh, they actually like the design."
Hmm.
And so they're like, so they got my books and they're happy with the free t-shirt. So nothing really goes to waste if you use your creative thinking.
So the other thing too is I think that your very first book would be wonderful as like a baby shower present for
Yes,
mom. So
yes,
like
yes.
grab one for the child to read to the child,
Yeah,
and this one is
yeah,
the one everybody's going to giggle about when she opens it at her baby shower for
yeah.
her as well.
That's right.
So that's really fun. And sometimes it takes time to reach the market, even though it might be a great idea. And I think it does have legs for sure, but sometimes it takes time for that to be identifiable and for people to get that market, get in front of the right people for that particular book. So I think it's brilliant what you're doing. I also love the idea that you are just continually creating, creating, creating. And that is such an important piece of being an author. I just want to give you an opportunity to kind of reflect back. If I could propel you back in time to the very first pencil to paper that you put together in this journey, what would you do differently as a more mature author now? Even though mistakes are good, would you have anything that you would do differently?
I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but I would focus more on the title and the cover before I even work on the plot, the story.
Hmm.
I mean, the story sometimes I understand is very true to your heart, and it's a story you want to bring to the audience, and that is a lovely motivation. But if profit and financial freedom is
Hmm.
your goal, then unfortunately, sometimes you need to consider what the market wants more than what yourself wants.
Right.
So I would focus more on the cover and the title to make sure they're sellable before I even work on the story.
So it sounds like maybe doing some more market research of what's selling, what people are looking for, and really
Yeah,
getting into that target audience of yours
yeah,
is a positive way. And that goes for everybody as we're working on things. It's finding your target audience is so very important and understanding them and doing a deep dive. And I think that none of that is wasted, but it can help with preventing some of the mistakes or the choices of going in the wrong direction that won't sell. Having said that, of course, this journey, you have become this resilient individual and are making incredible sales as a result of all of the resilience that you wouldn't have had if it was all about success right out of the gate, right? So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
you're growing the character and the resilience just shows what you're made of, and it's an amazing journey to have been watching, and just know that there are many people watching your journey and
Thank you.
celebrating you in this. So would you like to share a little bit on the statistics of since of the new series and the sales and the success that these have had?
The Girl Who Makes a Million Mistakes has sold well over 100,000 copies by now. And this is actually an outdated number too. And it's been translated into 10 languages all around the world. And this is something that I'm really grateful for because I'm not just spreading the word of positivity within North America, but everybody in different languages, children around the world can benefit from the concept of never giving up, and it's making mistakes that makes you successful.
So we got a question from Leslie who says, Brenda, can you tell us about building reviews and any success you've had with Amazon ads?
That's a very good question and a practical one too, Leslie. Reviews, yes, right at the beginning, it's a lot of hard work. Do an ebook. Don't just do a paperback. Go on KDP, do an ebook. And once the ebook and paperback are published and linked, even before you run ads, set your ebook for free for about 3 days and run a 25-cent low bid ad, automatic ad, because now your ebook is free and there's more people, more incentive to download it. And if you spend like a 25-cent auto ad, and then you're going to attract more eyeballs to your free ebook, then there will be more chances for reviews to be left. The second way is piggybacking the free ebook. You would want to let the author group know, all your friends and families know that your ebook is free. Please consider leaving a review. It's free for download. Please consider leaving a review. That's second one. And also post it on Facebook groups, teacher groups, mom groups, frugal groups, groups that love free stuff, teacher, kindergarten, preschool groups, and let them know that this ebook is free. Put the value out there. You're not out there to benefit yourself. At least you're not telling them that. You tell them this book benefits all the kindergartens and preschoolers out there. It's about Halloween. It's about being kind. It would be a perfect read aloud opportunity. Free download here, hoping you can please consider leaving me a review. That's at the end.
Yeah, that doesn't usually get deleted because of self-promotion if you're giving something for free. Is that right?
You got to read the rules as well. Sometimes it gets deleted. You got to be very strategic about it. Don't even put a link on it. It's all written. And if people are interested, they will comment interested. And that's when you tell them either put your link in the comments, or if you want to be even safer, just put in words, say you can find my book on Amazon. People will look for it. Because if you put a link, you might risk having the post deleted. A lot of cases, I didn't get deleted because admins allow links in comments. So that's trial number one. If that doesn't work out, use words. Just go, please find my book at this, this particular place on Amazon. Or you can put the link, but instead of no, you can't put the link. I mean, if they ban you for putting a link, then you can't put a link. Then you got to be creative. Oh, sometimes you know what I do? I put that link in my Instagram bio profile. Right. And then under comments, I go, if people are interested, I go, please download the free ebook on my Instagram bio link. So those are all words. There is no reason why the admin would want to delete that because there's 0 links there. Right. But then you put your Instagram handle. My Instagram handle is @pickinjeans. So I would go, please download the free ebook by clicking my bio link on Instagram @pickinjeans. And it's easy enough for people to remember Pig in Jeans and then type it in. And then the link is right there. Right. That way you kind of dodge the ball from being banned or having the post deleted. That's the very first 5, 6, 7 years of my author journey. And after I have created after I've gathered my own email subscribers, my own fans from all the previous sales that I've been getting, I am happy to say I actually no longer need to do this to gather reviews.
You built your own following in your own email list.
Absolutely. And the books sells each other. And when people see a book, see my Girl Mail Name Mistakes book, they automatically buy the other books and they just leave the reviews without even me asking for them. So I'm happy to say all the hustle and all the hard struggles and the physical labor of late night just texting on Facebook, just typing and replying thank you, not just for manners, but also to bump up the post. Because if you comment, your post get bumped up, right? So obviously I say thank you so much to every single comment. Obviously for manners, because I'm a well-mannered person, but also to bump up the post.
Right. So did you also, with regard to the free ebooks, setting your book for free, that means you joined the KDP Select program with your ebooks.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then did you also consider using, or did you use things like BookBub and Fussy Librarian and others
I
to
tried that. I
push
tried
that
that
out?
before.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
tried that before. I don't see a huge benefit. I'm sure every author experiences different things,
Mm-hmm.
and different books have different results. I did not see much experience. But then again,
Okay.
think about it. Those were my old books that weren't really selling.
Oh,
So is
right.
it
Okay.
because is it because Fuzzy Librarian is not working? Or is it because my book covers are not working?
I
Because
see.
right now with the books that are working, with these books that are doing well, I did not use Fuzzy Librarian and I did not use all the other stuff. So I actually have no idea
Okay.
what the problem was.
I think it might be well worth giving it a try because I know
Yes.
one of my recent runs with BookBub for one of my authors ended up getting like 25,000 downloads from that one
Wow.
promotion.
Wow.
So it's well
Wow.
worth it, especially because these do resonate so well with people. It might be something to consider.
Mm-hmm. It was
Let me
$15 only when I did it, US
Yeah, book
15. I
is
don't know about
different
now.
now. So
Yeah.
BookBub is like $110 to do it all through the
Yeah.
US and
Yeah.
through all of the different areas. Fussy Librarian is now up to $25. That's probably
Yeah.
the one you were considering for
Yeah.
$10.
Yeah. Fuzzy
But
Librarian.
they
Yes.
have such a big mailing list, it might be worthwhile. Sharon says, how do you market the translated versions of your book? Do you use Ingram Spark or local foreign companies?
That's a great question.
Hmm.
I just market it on my Instagram because I have foreign agency representing my work and doing all the marketing. And the publishers, the international publishers actually do their own marketing efforts. They would ask me for materials, they would ask me for my videos on Instagram, and they would ask if they can use some of my designs and create freebies like stickers or postcards to combine it with their published books and sell. So the publishers themselves do all the marketing. And while I also send emails to my email subscribers and my Instagram followers, Facebook followers, and all that, so that's within my circle.
So you have an agent that has helped you to evaluate and then offer for sale those books with foreign agents. So
Yes,
they have the contacts typically, and
yes,
they're able
yes,
to then evaluate your books to see whether or not it might be, good for certain other countries. And they usually know what these foreign publishers are looking for. So they will even market and pull together the deal, if I'm remembering correctly. Is that correct, Brenda? That they like put the contracts together and then of course get a
yes,
piece of the action. So
yes,
once you show some really good success with the US, that's where approaching a foreign, a somebody who can then sell your books to other foreign distributors might be worthwhile for sure.
absolutely, yes, April.
Zoe says, hi, Brenda. As your bestsellers teach important life lessons about perseverance, do you find that teachers and schools buy these books, even though they're POD? People often say they won't buy them unless they're offset printed.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of teachers buy my books for classroom uses, and they would come back with feedback saying it helped their kindergarten class a lot because, kindergarten is the first year transferring into a big kid school. They worry about
Hmm.
making mistakes, and so a lot of teachers use that book. Nobody cares if it's POD or not. It's just us authors who know the back end. You got to put yourself in a buyer's perspective. From a buyer's perspective, you go on Amazon, there's all these thumbnails, there are all these pricings, there are all these items to be bought. Format is the lowest of your concern as a buyer.
Yeah, as a buyer, I
It's just
had
an
no
author who
idea what
knows.
print on demand was. I think that, places like Barnes and Noble know, and they will care if your
Yeah,
market is
yeah,
is bookstores and getting into
yeah,
bookstores. That's a different story. But yeah, I had no idea what a POD book
yeah,
was or
yeah, yeah.
anything else like that.
Yeah.
So
Format is the last of should be the last of your concern right now until your book is a really it sells really well. And then you can consider different formats to jazz up your book, or if retailers want them, because retailers would not want your book just because your book is a hardcover. Focus your time and energy on cover, title, and then story. Format comes after.
Do you find that you're selling more paperbacks or hardcovers these days with the ones that are doing really well?
You know what? It's pricing that matters. Right now, I sold out of my hardcovers for The Girl Who Makes a Million Mistakes. But even then, when my hardcovers were available, it was still my paperback that had the most sales because of the price point.
And how are you pricing your hardcovers and paperbacks? What's the basic
Look,
price
look
you're
at
using?
look at look at what your competition are doing.
Okay.
Just match them. Just match them.
So I'm as I'm looking at the page here, it's $9.99 for the paperback. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
the
But that's not what
9.99,
I priced. I didn't
10.99.
price it. Yeah, yeah. Didn't pri It was an Amazon discount. Those we have
Oh,
no control over. Yeah. And
right.
we can't, unless you are, I'm not an expert at this, but some people with hardcovers, they're able to run their promos and they're able to control some discounts with Advantage or
Right.
Seller Central, something like that. But with
Hmm.
KDP, you don't have control over your discounts.
And we always try to celebrate whenever we get Amazon takes money out of
Yeah.
their pocket and
Yeah.
and
Yes.
reduces the price of your book. So I
Yes.
sometimes I get people that come to me and say, "Oh my God, my book is $4. Like, what is Amazon doing?" And this is a hardcover. And I'm like, "Celebrate. Tell all of your
Yep.
friends
Yep.
and all of the people
Exactly.
on your mailing list because they're taking it out of their pocket, not yours. So that's actually a
Exactly.
good thing." Brenda, can you go over your experience, Chelsea's asking, about being picked up by Scholastic?
Oh yeah, that was exciting. That was an exciting moment. I was actually hesitant at first, not sure if traditional publishing is the way to go because I really enjoyed my own freedom of creative control, time control, everything. I do everything myself. It's stress-free in a way that I don't have to, respond to anybody. But when I got on board with Scholastic, it was also a breather because they did everything.
Mm,
They did all the marketing and the book design. I mean, I created the covers and the illustrations on the inside and everything, but they put the books together, they adjusted the text and the copyright pages, and the sales are great just because they're such a big publishing company with a lot of budget and book fairs and getting my book physically out there for physical presence. So it was wonderful.
Now, did you actually approach them for it, or did they approach you
Uh,
for your books?
I I approached them. We submitted. We were submitting this book to a lot of multiple publishers.
Do they typically have like a time of year where they accept submissions, or did you just take the initiative to approach them ahead of any kind
No,
of
it's just random. It's
wow?
random times. It's whenever I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's no good dates for anything. It's whenever you're ready. I see a lot of people asking when is a good time to launch your new book? When is a good time to submit? There is no good time of the year. The best time is when you're ready.
Mm-hmm. So tell us what is readiness for you when you say, you're ready, like what does that encompass so that other authors that are preparing to also launch their books kind of get a better understanding of your process as well.
My story is done. My cover and title are good in my eyes, and I'm ready to click publish.
Okay. So
Sorry, that's that's
you're
a
not
very literal
you're
answer.
not doing like weeks worth of prep ahead of time on marketing or anything like that. You're just kind of throwing it out there. Is that
I
right?
am not, yeah, you know what? I'm not a fancy person. I understand a lot of authors do launch parties and a lot of prep work. I did that in the past and nothing worked. Like it didn't make or break my book, unfortunately.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you all a secret. I'm a quiet launcher. I just secretly press upload and hope nothing will explode, that sort of thing. It's because it's because during my first few years of publishing, I would get so worked up with preparing a launch party and a big celebration and letting the world know. And all those sales, maybe, I don't know, 50 books, just stops as soon as you stop putting in that effort. I don't want to put in the effort throughout my years. You know what I mean? I put in the effort so that I don't have to put in the effort.
Right.
I put in the effort right off the bat to make the best big butt book ever, so I don't have to put in the effort on the long run as I go. At the beginning, when I first, created a launch party and created surveys to get people subscribing to my email, the only benefit at that moment was really gathering email subscribers. That was well worth it. First few years before I launched my book, I would create a survey asking people to, more like a market research, and then I go, if you want to be notified of this free ebook when the book is out, please provide your email. And so I collected over 1,000 emails
through a survey.
Yeah. Facebook, you just gotta keep hassling Facebook groups. You gotta have no shame. And if you get banned, it's not personal.
But I also love the idea that Facebook groups, and I mean, the survey that you created gives you a lot of that market research that you maybe were missing at the beginning when you first started your author journey. So has the feedback that you've received in your surveys also shaped what you've done in, later after the survey?
Not so much, to be honest with you, not so much. Just because I don't know, maybe because my questions were not asked in an intelligent manner. I go, as a kindergarten teacher, are you, would you want this topic more or this topic more? What other topics would you like to see? And I do get a lot of responses for what topics they would like to see. But, for example, they would say, oh, kindness topics. There are a bunch of kindness books out there. Why won't my kindness book fly, right? You just don't know. Right. You probably can think of a lot of positive topics off the top of your head that you would think it's much needed in the market, but it just doesn't work. So all these feedback that I'm getting, it's really for emails.
Okay, good. Well, and having over 1,000 kindergarten teachers or educators on an email list, that's beneficial. Really propel you forward. So that's an amazing opportunity.
Yes.
Jackie says your story is inspiring and amazing. Congratulations on all of your success. When you mentioned using a 25-cent ad, how often did you use it and how well did it work for you? Were there certain ways of marketing your book that you felt helped best with selling your books consistently?
Yeah, those 25-cent ads, they are very helpful for when you don't have much leverage yet. For example, when I did not have any reviews for my newly launched books, and I'm there to collect reviews, those 25-cent ad helped me gather eyeballs into my free ebook. And I actually keep running low budget ads on a daily basis. Not so much 25 cents. 25 cents these days don't really work.
I was just going to say, usually you won't get any traction at 25 cents around this time of the year.
But the only but a few years back, I do 25 cents because there were no reviews. I knew I wasn't going to get any sales, so I don't want to spend that much money yet. So right now you probably raise it up to, I don't know, 50 cents. The thing is eyeballs. Sometimes it's eyeballs. You don't even need anyone clicking on it. That's why you want to go low, because you knew you won't be converting into a sale when you had 0 reviews at that moment. So go with low, and even if it's not, if it's not working out, like you don't get conversions or anything, people are seeing your ads.
Have you found video ads also do well for you as far as getting eyeballs on your books?
Video ads, I think, video ads are pretty effective as well. I have not seen, I haven't really dig deeper into the statistics, into what works better. Again, you throw anything out there and see what sticks.
Tina asks, do you copyright your books in each country that represents your books? Or do you have an agent submit the copyright for you? I'm thinking they probably copyright on their
end. I think the agents
did.
Right? Yes, they did. I think they did. I didn't do anything on my end.
And that would be the ones who are publishing in that foreign country, and they're going
Yeah.
to do the translation. They're going to
Yes.
copyright their own translation of it, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shanita says she appreciates your honesty and your vulnerability for all of this is very, very humbling for us as well. Did you sign up with KDP Select and also Ingram Spark? Sharon is asking. So yes to KDP Select.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and Ingram Spark as well, just so I could try to, just so some physical retailers might be able to see my book if it's on Ingram Spark.
So as a follow-up to that, are you also taking your more successful books and doing like an offset print run, or are you just focusing on POD?
Good question. I'm taking my successful books like Million Mistakes, and I did an offset print run on this. It's sold out. I need to get more. And for all the other books, I am just doing POD. And once I see sales and results on those PODs will be converted into hardcovers. But you
Nice.
never start with printing 2,000 hardcovers or 2,000 books without knowing if your POD is going to sell or not.
Does anyone know why Amazon sometimes drastically reduces the price of a book, even though they lose money? Carol, thank you for that question. I can give a little bit of my insights, and then I can ask Brenda to jump in as well. So Amazon does reduce pricing for a couple of reasons. Number one, so Amazon, if they receive returns, they will discount the book and try to resell it as long as it's in good shape. That may be one of the reasons why you're seeing a book that gets a drastic reduction. They're trying to liquidate it quickly. Other times it's if they see things selling well, or they want to, or maybe it's a topic that they think will sell well, then sometimes they just randomly will go through. And I'm not aware of any rhyme or reason why or how they select which books get a reduction. I do know as Christmas comes, they're looking at Christmas books, same thing with Halloween, and they'll do like a little reduction to try to help get those books selling. Brenda, anything more that you'd like to add for that?
What I find throughout the years is when your book is ranking pretty well, Amazon does further reduce the price for you. It's almost like they're helping. It's almost like because this book is receiving a good ranking, let's further reduce for even further sales. Because I'm seeing a lot of discounts on my successful books, while my books that are not so successful, not a penny has been taken off.
Right, and that makes sense because Amazon's making money every time you sell, they're getting a piece of it. So
Mhm,
they want
mhm.
to continue those sales. So that makes sense.
Mhm.
Tina wants to know, what did your ads say? When you run an ad, are you using text on the ad, or are you just putting a standard ad out there?
No text. I don't. I've tried text before, and I've also tried no text. For me personally, I don't know about the other authors. It made no difference to conversions.
A follow-up from Tina, did you seek an agent from the get-go, or did you wait until after you started getting
No,
the popular sales?
I waited until after, because it's really about your work as well. If your work doesn't sell, it's very hard for the agent to sell your work on your behalf too. So start focusing on the very first step internally. Cover, title, plot, that's it.
Mhm.
Everything else comes after when your book is successful. Because if you imagine, for my old books, Kindness Gets a Thumbs Up. Like, if I start thinking about formats, if I start thinking about agents, if I start thinking about translations and overseas, none of that would have manifested, because right off the bat, the book didn't even sell.
Right.
So don't even think too far. Think the present today, like yoga, like present.
Yeah. And even if it's just 15 minutes a day on IMing or texting, putting things in Facebook groups and things, even if you just spend 15 minutes a day on your marketing, that those baby steps are going to pay off big in the long run. So I think that's a really smart idea of taking advantage of where your target audience really is. Jackie's asking, have you done anything with book fairs? Do you do events and things like that as well?
Yeah, I do markets. And this book sells at the market, believe it or not.
I bet.
People laugh, and then they stop, and then they buy. And then they
Mhm.
go, oh, my daughter is pregnant, or oh, I have a my daughter is a newborn, or we're having a baby shower soon. I'm like, so this book sells at markets. So don't even think about, throwing away the products that didn't get sold. You will always find use afterwards. And yes, I do markets.
If you find this information valuable, go and search for Brenda, one of Brenda's books, and support her in this and share with your friends, because word of mouth is so important when it comes to allowing authors to really grow their audience as well. So Zoe says, with a bestseller on KDP, is it possible to make a profit when you invest in ads or with a best-selling series? So Amazon ads aren't always profitable at the beginning. Like you said, you won't get the profitability right away. But now that you see your books are doing well with your best-selling series, are your ads profitable now?
My ads are not are profitable. However, never okay, a lot of experienced authors will tell you this. Don't just focus on your ACOS. Don't just focus on your ads. Profitability comes from organic sales as well. Don't even
Mhm.
think about, oh my goodness, my ACOS is so high. Look at your overall big picture, because I'm gonna tell you, my ACOS is pretty high right now. However, I'm still profitable. Why is that? Because my organic sales are really high as well. So
Mhm.
the money you spend on ads, if you just look at your dashboard, it might not be worth it. Yeah, you might break even, you might be profitable, but you're like, oh, that's not good enough for me. But if you look at your KDP dashboard, that might tell you a different story.
Yeah, that's so true. We went through this in my Amazon ads class where we took the actual profit or the royalties you're making from KDP and the royalties from Ingram, and then deduct the ad spend. And that's more of a true
Yes,
look across the board at
yes.
whether your books are profitable. And I
Yes.
have had authors come to me and say, I'm going to stop my ads, they're not profitable. And when we make that calculation, they
Mm-hmm.
realize they are profiting a little bit, or
Mm-hmm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
basically getting their ads for free because what they're making is kind of offsetting what they're spending. And if not, then I would just say to you, if you're spending a couple $100 a month more than what you're making back, is that couple $100 a month an investment towards what you're doing for your business, a marketing investment, right? Because that is also what Amazon ads are, is marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out whether or not that will continue over time. Will that cost less and less as you make your ads smarter and smarter? Reduce those terms that are not converting well, add in and double down on the ones that are, and you should
Mm-hmm.
continue to see more profitability over time with your ads.
Absolutely. And mindset is very important, because running Amazon ads, it's not just throwing money into the ocean. You're collecting data. You're buying data. You're not getting nothing in return. You're buying data to see like April was saying, to see what keywords are converting, what keywords are not converting,
Mhm.
and what keywords are, bleeding. You're buying data. So the mindset of losing money and throwing money into the ocean can really be detrimental to your early stages in Amazon ads and wanting to give up. I can understand that. But your mindset needs to change in how you see why you're paying for these ads.
What is your, say, top three marketing investments that you make in your book? Amazon ads would be one of them, but is it where you spend, the
Can I
majority?
answer?
Yeah,
Can
please
I
do.
answer first? Top third, Amazon ads. Second, Amazon ads. First, Amazon ads. I'm going to be very honest with you.
That's
This
where
is
your
what
investment
financial
is.
freedom means. This is what freedom means. I'm not going to put in effort.
Hmm. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I'm going to be very honest. I do a lot of work. I am extremely hardworking. I put in so much work at the beginning so I can put less work down the road.
That's a great answer. And it does show. So for people that are not trying Amazon ads, you're missing out on something. And even if it's just missing out on learning that, you're not connected with that the book isn't marketable or it's just not working, better to find out sooner rather than later and be able to continue to adjust and move forward with other options and ideas as well.
But I'm going to add, I am therefore putting all eggs into one basket, and it's always freaking me out on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But I will freak out more when the time comes when Amazon kicks me out.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, doesn't happen.
Yeah. That is very true. So you haven't experimented with going wide with your ebooks or doing more direct sales, for example.
No, I have. I've tried setting up a Shopify on my website, and I've tried running Facebook ads to lead to generate sales into my website. There are some, but because the majority is because my Amazon ads, the results are so well that I am less motivated to
Mm,
to do. I
right.
want to spend my energy optimizing my ads.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, doubling down on what's working.
Right.
So if my ads is what's working, then I'm gonna double down my energy, time, and effort into optimizing my ads. I will deal with my Shopify later.
Yeah. Well, I'll also just mention one thing that probably will freak you out a little bit, Brenda, but I had one author who built and I helped him to publish 14 books. It was doing really well with Amazon ads. Things were really starting to take off for him, and his brand was coming together nicely. We did redesign covers. We really started to catch on, and then Amazon pulled the plug and his whole business was closed down in one
Oh
fell swoop.
no. Oh no. How did Amazon pull the plug?
They just told him that he violated some sort of and they couldn't even give us an answer of what it was that he violated. He went
Yeah.
through appeal after appeal after appeal, and it was to no,
Yeah.
he
That, that
got
does freak
no
me out.
success. So it
Yeah.
does, I would just encourage you to look for, and maybe all you need to do is just take a look at the share of sales that comes from outside of Amazon each month, and then just work on making it 1% better for
Agree.
next month or
Absolutely
1%
agree.
better for the next month,
Absolutely agree.
because that it can be very
Yeah.
scary when
It
it
is
comes to that.
scary.
And I think that, your ebooks and do well with Amazon, Kindle Unlimited and all that, but you're also have Apple Books and Google Books and so many other places that if you were to go wide, would bring in a whole new group of readers that had not yet discovered you
Hmm.
on Amazon. So that's
Hmm.
another potential, just a little potential idea for you when you're ready to do something like Publish Drive or Draft to Digital. They'll help you push it out to all of those other platforms, and it can be
Great
it can be
ideas.
really helpful to grow. Brenda, you mentioned applying for Scholastic. Did you submit through an agent or by yourself?
Through an agent.
Okay. So is that the same foreign agent that gets, no,
No,
it's a different agent
no, it's a
altogether.
different agent. Yes.
Okay. Any advice for those that may be thinking about or considering an agent? Like what to look for as far as finding the right person to help represent you?
Find someone who resonate with your work. You guys would be on the same page, and he or she would be an expert in children's book if that's what you're doing. And try emailing them and well, I mean, responsiveness is something that I value a lot. I understand it's email, it takes a day or two to respond sometimes, but sometimes responsiveness is also relevant to how much the person values your time.
Mm.
So if you feel like the agent or the person you're speaking with is not really valuing your time and not being responsive enough, chances are that person is probably not that much on your page as well. So
Mm.
that's some of the factors that I include when looking for an agent. Responsiveness, whether they value your time or not, and whether we're on the same page in terms of our interest in the book industry and whether they are an expert in what you do.
Pat asks, when you promote your books on Facebook, do you use a personal Facebook account or a business author Facebook account?
Business author Facebook account.
I mentioned like try to get your price point the same as your competition. So then if you're doing the ads, I know that that's like a slow process, or should be, so you don't lose everything at one time. So if you're doing that, was there a certain price point that you said, okay, this is my ad, it seems to be picking up? What amount did you start investing in monthly that you felt like it was really more consistent in your sales?
Good question, Tina. I would, for bids, I tried really high, I tried really low. I would never go above 99 cents because anything, to me, anything about that is it's overkill. It just eats into your, because you don't have with KDP and the price point that we set it at, we just don't have much leverage or leeway to be spending on ads. A 99-cent ad, you're gonna bleed with just a few clicks. And people click and they don't purchase. That's how the culture is. I would say anywhere a range between 55 cents to 75 cents is a good amount that you can afford to remain consistent. 75 cents and above, I do on high seasons. Christmas, back to school, those 75 cents to 85 cents ads, they do very well during those high peak seasons. Back to school is considered Christmas for authors.
Yeah, that's very true.
So when you're placing those ads, is there a certain point, like once you discovered like your magic point was 76 cents an ad, then how do you determine your budget for that day?
I always start off with, like, let's say a $20 budget, and I hope it will max out. That's everybody's hope, because if your budget maxes out, that means people are clicking on your ads. That means you're doing well, and that's your time to scale. However, don't scale yet. So let's say you max out your budget on a $20 ad. Then you go in to see if your keywords are just bleeding with no conversions. Is that why you're maxing out your budget, or are you getting sales? So that's when you tweak your keywords. If you're maxing out at $20 a day, don't scale up just yet. You got to go in and go, okay, let's optimize my ads. This keyword is bleeding, I'm going to kill it. So basically scale up your budget when your ACoS and your conversions are good enough. Let's say when you're breaking even or profiting from your $20 budget. So there's no point scaling when you're losing money, right? Optimize your ads before you scale. Start with a $20. I start with $30. Doesn't matter, 20, 35. Yeah. And then if it doesn't max out, it means there's not enough people clicking your ads. So then there's no need to raise your budget. There's no point. I've heard myths back then where Amazon wants to see how passionate you are about running ads. So I've heard myths saying if you put in a big budget right off the bat, Amazon can see that you're sincere or something and gives you more, algorithm. I've tried that. I don't think it worked.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see any benefit from doing that either.
No.
I'll just add a couple more little tips for those of you who are curious about Amazon ads as well, is if you are creating ads and you're, putting $20 a week or a day, and it starts to make you a little nervous, what I always recommend is to create a portfolio. Put your ads in a portfolio and then max your, you can go and set a monthly budget for your ads. So even if you say, I'm not willing to spend more than a few $100s a month on your ads, fine, put all of your ads into a portfolio and you can set that maximum monthly amount for your ads. And then what it'll do is it'll pause the ads and then pick it up the following month. So it is a way, if you are afraid of like, oh my gosh, if they do spend $30 a day and I've got 4 or 5 ads, this could be really costly and I'm just not ready to go there, or I'm afraid to go there, then don't forget you can put that stopgap on the portfolio level. I want to thank you all for the amazing attention, and I want to thank our speaker for her time committed to us. Brenda, is there anything we can do to help you, or any follow-up you'd like to talk about, maybe an upcoming book or a way that we can thank you for this amazing opportunity to be with you today?
That's so sweet, April. Just follow me on my Instagram at @PigInJeans. That would be a huge help because I'm only at like 4,000 something followers. Not that fan number actually matters because Adam Wallace he has the most amazing book series, and his following isn't like, sky high, but he is so successful. So I guess not
Mhm.
to let the numbers fool us, but then yeah,
Right.
follow me.
Yes, 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 yes. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to have you come back again sometime and we'll talk a little, in another year or so and see how things are going. But
My
again,
pleasure.
thank you and really appreciate your time. Good luck with all of your books. And I'm
Thank
sure
you,
that this
everyone.
success is just the beginning for you.
I hope so. I hope so. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.